Okay, so we're live now. Okay. Okay, you guys can hear me?
Yep, clearly.
Yep, clear.
Okay, great, we're live. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Medic Footprints YouTube live podcast. So I'm Dr. Selina. I'm the founder of Medic Footprints Malaysia, and I'm your host today. And I'm excited to be here with you tonight to talk about the exciting and rapidly evolving world of AI in healthcare and how it will impact us doctors in our daily work. So as we dive into this topic, I want you to think about your role as a doctor in this era of AI. How will you adapt? How will you evolve? How will you embrace this technology and use it to improve patients' outcome? This is not covered in our training. It's not covered in med school. But it is evolving, and I think it's time we start talking about it. So how will you cope with your responsibilities of traditional duties like seeing patients, and with this increasing demand for technological proficiency? Or will you be left behind and be replaced by others who are more knowledgeable in this field? Or more dauntingly, what if you are replaced by a machine? Do you think that's going to happen? Well, join us as we're going to talk to experts in this field of AI and healthcare. We'll hear from doctors who have already embraced AI and are using it to improve their practices, and they can share their insights on how doctors can harness this technology to enhance their skills and perform their jobs more efficiently. So whether you're a doctor, a healthcare provider, or simply someone who is interested in future of healthcare, I invite you to join us as we explore the exciting and sometimes a bit emotional world of AI in healthcare. So let's get started. Now, joining us tonight is Dr. Zuhairi. He's a psychiatric medical officer and a trainee psychiatrist based in Hospital UITM, Puncak Alam. As one who considers himself a computer nerd, he has learned coding on his own and has mastered several programming languages such as JavaScript, Kotlin, and Python. Hi, Dr. Zuhairi. Welcome on board.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. Hello, everyone.
And also we have Dr. Edri. He's a public health physician and an epidemiologist in IIUM with experience in communicable diseases, epidemiology, and digital health. Now, he specializes in epidemiologic studies, geographical information system, and statistical analysis, with a particular interest in machine learning techniques and clinical decision support system in healthcare. He's also the founder and consultant of Digital Epidemic Detection Action. DETECT is a health initiative where he led the design and development of a web application for COVID surveillance in IIUM. So welcome, Dr. Edri.
Hi, Selina and everyone. Thank you very much for the kind introduction.
So maybe Dr. Zuhairi, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, like how you got into coding and what is the coolest thing that you built?
Well, there are many things to begin with. It's been a 7 years journey for me since I started to first write my first code on my computer. And if you want to say which app I think has most impact on me, would be one of my very first Android app, which is called My CPU, or My Community Psychiatric Unit, which was still an experimental app, to be honest, that I developed when I was a medical officer back in Sabah, about 3 years ago. So the app sort of won some award from the Sabah state, and also we finalists in the national competition. And because of that app, I won the Malaysian Secretary Award for Best Practice Award from the Malaysian Secretary Association. So from that app that I built, I started to, start to build more apps in healthcare, mainly in mental health. And now I started to venture into other fields of healthcare as well, such as, many things. We have apps on pathology, from clinical administration, ranging from Android, iOS, and even web apps. And I think that programming is something that doctors should not be afraid of. I can assure you it is very easy to learn, very easy to master, actually. And I think that if doctors know how to code, they can really, sort of propel their career much further forward, be ahead of everyone else. Yep.
So Zuhairi, maybe you can tell a little bit like your story, how you had the idea to build that MyCPU app, and what was the initial phase of, how a Frankenstein app you made at the beginning. Maybe you can share a little bit about that.
All right. Okay. Thanks for that, Selina. Well, it first began when, when I worked in Sabah. It was a rural area in Sabah, So as a psychiatric medical officer or the psychiatric team there, we have our own community services. We have to visit our patients in their homes and their places where they live. So part of our problem was that, in Sabah, it's very difficult to trace these patients. They don't have proper houses, proper addresses. Most of them were homeless. So when we have to track a patient with schizophrenia, for example, we have to sort of run around. We can't get the right location. So we have to build something, to trace the patients, where they are and where they live. So I built an app where we can track where these patients are, what are their diagnoses, what is their treatment, and we use a Google map to pinpoint their location. So by using the app, they simply press go, we can go and find the patient. So this basically really speed up our processes, our management, save money. Everyone is more relaxed, less burnout for the staff. So it was a great experience. But however, COVID-19, struck, and the project sort of halted there because we cannot go for our visits. So I kind of quite frustrated. We couldn't get, really put enhance the project. But it was a wonderful experience. I still have the project in hand. Possibly, maybe next year we can start to, really kick off the project again.
Okay, so what were the apps you used to build your so-called homemade app?
Well, I'm basically a app developer or hybrid app developer. I use a technology called Flutter. If you have heard of that before, Flutter is basically a platform developed by Google, actually, where if you build an app using Flutter, that app can be deployed to many platforms, such as Androids, iOS, your iPhones, or to the web, using one single code base. So by using the app using Flutter, I can basically, cover for a range of devices. So that's what I use to build the app.
Was that what you used for your MyCPU, your
exactly? Yes,
version?
I use that. Exactly. I've been using Flutter for the past 3 years. Flutter is amazing, and I couldn't stop using it.
Okay. So what about you, Dr. Edri? What was your background, and how did you get into this, and what is the coolest app that you built?
Okay. All right. Basically, to start off, the venture in the AI, I actually started with teaching and learning, as well as delivering workshops related to statistics. In terms of the app itself, I started to wonder if I am giving workshops on programming. Previously I am using more on a programming language called R, just the letter R. I found out that if I do this data analysis works related to my field, public health, and also health related issues, I couldn't get any hands-on on how do I want to convert these results from my analysis into a readable format that everyone can share, everyone can learn using mobile apps. So I started to venture into this machine learning because currently I am also working in the hospital. We are looking at very big data analytics, okay, involving electronic medical records. There's a huge potential for us to detect, to establish alert system. So one of the coolest I would say, very interesting project that I am currently working and have deployed in one of my projects is the tuberculosis, latent tuberculosis detection app. So basically, this app, the function is actually we want to screen those who do not have any symptoms coming to the hospital, okay, but they are actually exposed to other patients that have TB. Because they don't have any symptoms, how can we actually decide whether this patient, this individual need to be screened or not? So with this application, we are able to pinpoint, using machine learning, pinpoint what are the strongest risk factor that's going to decide whether, okay, hey, this guy, based on the system, needs screening. So we will proceed with screening, and subsequently our team have a physician to treat the latent tuberculosis. So I would, my field currently is more towards developing a clinical decision support system. Basically, Selina and also the audience, it's not to replace the doctors and whatnot, but to assist them. I would say having this skill is very much important and will be an added advantage to medical doctors.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Dr. Edry, you know, the
Yeah.
word artificial intelligence and machine learning, it's like it's thrown out left, right, center. Everyone's using that word, but what does it actually mean? I mean, for someone like me, a doctor, I've got no technical background. Like, how would you explain what is AI and machine learning?
Okay. I like to give example of us human beings. We ourselves, we are human beings. Okay. We have the intelligence, we have IQ, right? Intelligent quotient. We have emotional intelligence, right? Emotional quotient. We have the brain. We have the organ called brain, right? The brain is the functional unit that allows us to think and to make decisions. So what is artificial intelligence is basically the artificial form of intelligence that a machine can be able to deliver what is intended, is intended to do. So we give some programs to the computer or the machine to execute decisions almost, if not better than human beings. All right. One example, I think, in literature, they keep on mentioning the example of one of the AI is able to beat the champion for chess. I think Kasparov is the name. So this AI machine is able to beat the world champion in chess. But how can this machine be able to beat a human being that has been trained for many years? Is we need to feed them with some sort of data. So without the data is also useless. So we need some sort of data to feed and to allow the machine to be able to think by itself and to make decisions. And if you say, most of us also heard about what is machine learning then. So machine learning is basically a subset, basically a part of artificial intelligence, a method to allow us to get to the decision that we are trying to achieve. Okay, there are a lot of techniques, all right, like classification techniques, regression techniques, all these jargons. But at the end of the day, machine learning is basically a technique under artificial intelligence to allow us to make the decisions that we intended to make. So AI is a concept, machine learning is a technique.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So what's the progress of this AI in the field of healthcare? Like, should doctors even take interest in it?
Okay, again, I come back to the example of big data, all right? A lot of hospitals nowadays, even in clinics, even in health sectors, we are actually having big and chunks, large amounts of data. All right. So this data, previously it was all most, if not all, in manual form. Okay, so we need to enter the data in the computer and then make sense out of it. Okay, what is actually the patient's characteristics? Are this patient having hypertension? Are this patient having high blood pressure? Are we going to treat or not to treat the patient? Okay, but it requires manual work. With the advent and the era of big data currently, a lot of this data requires specialized techniques. So this artificial intelligence is one of the techniques that allow us to uncover so many things, so many unknown and also possibly important reasons and findings that can allow us to improve the patient's outcome. Okay, but which is cannot be achieved through a normal mathematics, normal statistics. So basically artificial intelligence, we combine all of the data science, the science behind data, to allow us to actually improve the patient's outcome. So I think being in the medical field, also health field, very important for us to have this skill that we have an added advantage. We know our patients, what they want and what are their characteristics. We can use that for our work and also to help them in their journey of health. So that's how I look at it.
So if I hear it correctly, that means that you can find new correlations of the disease and the patient, is it? With this
Correct.
AI and machine learning and big data collection?
Yes, correct. Now they are talking about precision medicine. Okay, this one of the precision medicine, precision public health. Okay, I give a simple example. In the practice guidelines, okay, the clinical practice guidelines, example, management of high blood pressure. So they tell the patients, okay, if you have this level of blood pressure, okay, you need to treat with these drugs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But with machine learning, if we are able to develop a very competent model that can be used in mobile apps or any application, whatnot, we will uncover so many detailed decision making that is not available in our current clinical practice. So basically, new risk factors, genetics. Okay, they're talking about genetics, genetic genes that is responsible for certain kind of diseases. So sometimes we need this help from AI to help us uncover and also to validate our decision making for our patients.
Wow, sounds like AI is going to take over the doctors. So what are your thoughts on it, Dr. Edri?
Okay, as of now, I won't say it will take over. Okay, basically, us humans, we are still the quote unquote superior being in this world, right? So basically, AI is just to assist. It's just to assist us for us to be able to again, I repeat, the main ultimate aim for healthcare is to improve and to give wellness to our community and also patients. So to assist, I won't say replace as yet.
Okay, what about you, Dr. Zuhairi? What's your thought on it? Whether the AI is going to replace us or not? Because Elon Musk is worried AI is going to replace us, so he's trying to build that Neuralink. So what do you think, Dr. Zuhairi?
Well, I think Edri is more expert in this field, I believe. But yeah, I think from a coder perspective of view, and I think AI has already, replaced the coders and the programmers in a way, which is quite worrying for many software engineers. But at this point, I still think that AI doesn't have the intuition as humans have. You see, humans have this ability to read, what's between the lines, for example, what's sarcasm, for example, and the ability to make sense of what's happening in the surrounding. I don't think AI has this ability yet. So humans still have to sort of understand how the environment work, how things work, and put that into a machine language, which something that AI cannot do. So like Adri said, Dr. Adri said, that AI still should be our tool, not our replacement. And I do believe that those who have knowledge in AI will definitely become much better than people who don't use AI in the future. So something that we really have to embrace. That's how the future going to be. So we just have to, just have to learn about it. That's
Okay, so Dr. Zuhairi, how much do you think a doctor can get paid if he has all this knowledge in AI and coding and all that? How much do you think he would be worth more than other doctors?
Well, you see, it really depends on how you market your skill. Okay, if you manage to find a niche where you can fit in, and people sort of look after you for that role, and you can get money out of it, definitely. So you really have to show this skill to other people, do presentation, wow some people, and people gonna give you their cards, business cards, and you got new contacts, and that's how basically you develop in that particular area. But you really have to know what's your area. For example, if you are like Dr. Adri is doing research on epidemiology, then you can fit in that role. Some people do research in mental health, for example, and like in myself, some people do in terms of clinical, some population studies. So you really have to market your skill. And definitely when you know how to program, which I'm going to teach in this course, you can use this as a base for you to explore other tech stacks. For example, how to build websites, how to build apps, for example, how to become a DevOps engineer, how to become a cybersecurity expert. You can learn from there by knowing how to program. Yeah, that's my take on that.
How much do you think, like a range, like just to build an app with AI? How much would you say a mental health app? Because actually I've seen quite a lot of mental health apps out there right now.
Exactly. Let's say it depends on whether you are building an app for a client or you are building to sell, or as your own product. If say you build a proper enterprise app, right, you can easily charge like 5-figure sum for the app to build one. Okay. If say you want to build your own app, then it's like you are marketing your own product. You can ask for monthly subscription, for example, $20 per month. And imagine you have like 10,000 downloads, and imagine the amount of money you're going to make out of it. You can do some data analysis, and based on data, do some machine learning, get some output from there, put in the app, and people can use the app to get the data that they want. So this is one of the ways of how this novel, this knowledge that you have can be, translated into get some more money. That would be my take on that.
Is that how you supplement your lifestyle also?
That's what off record. Yeah.
Okay, so like, what sort of superpowers will a doctor have if say he's got this knowledge in AI and machine learning? Dr. Adri, what do you think is his superpowers?
Well, one of the superpowers I think is the bragging rights. Okay, I would say quote unquote bragging rights. Bragging rights of being able to be together with the current mainstream. Okay, basically not left behind. So that's number one. So the next superpower will be basically you have the skill. You have the skill to be able to utilize this machine learning, again, as I mentioned, to improve your patients. So I think it's very incredible for you to be able to know what's going on behind the scenes, okay, rather than just being an end user, right? So that's superb. I think that's superb, because before this we just rely on whatever app that we have, whatever tools that we have. Now you can decide what you want, and you can decide what superpowers you want to include inside your application. So that superpower comes, part of it comes from the machine learning or the model that you have built or developed.
Okay. So tell me, Zuhairi, tell me a bit more about this upcoming AI bootcamp for doctors. Like, what can they expect, and what can they do at the end of 4 days bootcamp?
Well, I can say it's gonna be a lot of fun things going to be. the course will be presented by me and Dr. Edri. So we both have our own modules to teach. What's very special about this course that you won't find anywhere online is that we are going to integrate both healthcare knowledge, medical knowledge, and technology. It's very rare. You wouldn't find it anywhere else in this. I think so. I don't think we have one yet. So we are going to teach the doctors, the healthcare professionals on how they can use their knowledge in healthcare or medicine or whatever fields they are in healthcare, and use technology on how to expand on that knowledge using it. So what we're going to cover from my part is that I'm going to cover the basics of how do computers work. You know, many people have been wondering, what if I type something on my keyboard, what's going to happen under the hood? What's going on there? What is binary? What is bits? What is bytes? See, what is 64 bits? You know, for example, some people are very curious to know, yeah, what is it about? What is Unicode? Have you heard of this term before? For example, right? What's kernel? All these things. And then you know about binaries 1001, how this binary code get turns into a programming language, what is low level, what is high level. And when you know all these things, then we're going to learn about Python. Why we choose Python in particular? Because number one, Python is very, very easy to learn for a beginner. It's very simple language. It can even sound like a typical English language. And secondly, is Python very popular and widely used? For example, in the US, those who know Python or Python programmer, their starting salary is around 64,000 US dollars per year. Starting salary, if you work in the US or remotely from Malaysia. That's a high pay, isn't it? And much better than many doctors around, I think. So, and then the next one is because Python is used extensively in AI and machine learning. That's why Dr. Edri comes in. After you learn about Python, you learn about data structures, algorithms from computer science that I'm going to teach. Then Dr. Edri is going to expand on that, on how you can build some models, AI, train some data, and get some output that you want. So it's going to be very, very interesting because we're going to use data from the healthcare or medical knowledge in particular. Then we can use it in our course. Yep.
Okay, I guess that's very important, right? Because if say, for instance, I have an idea, I'm going to build an app, but I have zero knowledge on coding, zero knowledge on machine learning, and I find a developer who doesn't speak my language.
Yes.
He speaks in 1 and 0, and then we'll discuss, and then suddenly the app that comes out is just not what I asked for,
Exactly.
right?
It happens a lot. It happens a lot like that. So I think to have that knowledge to, like you said, the superpower to code your own app is going to be a very, very big plus point for you. And for your organization, you're going to be a big asset for your company or your department. They won't let you go, for example, and people are going to seek your help for many things. I think it's a good way for you to expand your career further on.
Yeah, I heard from like Meranti and a few other what is people, they actually helping all these startups to build their apps and all. Then they've mentioned that mostly it's engineers that come and say, okay, here I have a solution, I just want to build something, but they don't know what the problem is. They're just forcing you to use this because they can build it, right? But they don't know what the problem is.
Exactly.
So I guess it's very beneficial as a doctor, because we all know the problems in the hospital.
Exactly.
Every single one of us who have been through this, we know what the issues are, right? So we can find a better solution for the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about you, Dr. Edri? What's your part in this workshop? I mean, in human language, like, explain a bit like what you'll be covering in the workshop.
Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. So in this workshop, I'll be covering the theory and application of AI and machine learning in healthcare. So basically, I'm going to use a real data set, data that is real, coming from real patients, and also examples that can relate what is actually the participants and also those who are interested in this workshop are going to do for their own careers. So basically, this data they will be able to know, okay, how can they make sense this data to turn it into information. I think one of the challenges that I often face when dealing and when consulted with this kind of data issues is that many people have a lot of data, but they cannot turn that data into useful information. So I think before jumping into this machine learning, I will try my best to give to them what are the essential things that you need to know, and how is the structure that you need to have in your data to be able to run the machine learning. So that's one of the key points that I'm going to focus on. And of course, how to build your own model. Model is the machine learning model, the AI model, for you to do some prediction. Am I going to, in 5 years' time, am I going to have some sort of disease? How can I prevent it? What are the costs incurred if I don't treat my risk factors for my bad lifestyle? Okay, example, overeating, not taking exercise and whatnot. So these are the tools and tricks that I will be giving to the participants, hopefully.
Okay, so Dr. Edric, if I have no background in coding or data science or machine learning or AI or anything, can I still join?
Yeah, of course, of course. Once we see the participants, I think Dr. Zuhairi also very much involved in workshops before. Once we see participants having trouble, we'll try to go back, take one deep breath, and we go one by one how to solve the problem. So we try to go slow and be very basic, so that at the end of the day, the take-home message is at least you can build a simple application, either web application or mobile application that have this AI component in it, and you can use it. Or if you cannot, and if you even cannot digest, or you cannot actually, in the future, you are still having troubles, at least you know what's going on. If somebody gives you a mobile phone, hey, I developed a new AI application. So these are the codes. These are the things inside the application. At least you know, oh, actually behind it, I know he is using a deep learning algorithm. He is using nearest neighbor algorithm. So things like that. So you can get that knowledge so that you can decide whether, okay, I need to use this app or I don't need to use this app.
Okay, it sounds like you're saying that at the end of 4 days, the attendees will be able to create a AI-powered healthcare app.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. So, Dr. Zuhairi, how will these attendees be able to apply the knowledge and skills learned to their day-to-day work, and how can this impact the healthcare industry?
Okay, first and foremost, when you know how to code in Python, one of the things that you can build is some sort of Python scripts, we called it. And these scripts you can run in your computer to automate many things that in your computer. For example, automatically arrange your folders in your computer. When you enter something, suddenly this goes to this folder, this goes to this folder. It can help. You can do that. You can build that. Or for example, you can automatically, if you have a lot of data in your folders in your computer, right? You can arrange, or this one belongs to these particular people. You can arrange it. That's one thing. You can even automate auto reply your emails. For example, these emails you have to reply. This one you can ignore. You can build that algorithm. And that's Python scripts. You can even build Python programs, meaning these apps that you can build. For example, this app can, do certain calculation, for example, checking their BMI, for example, and a lot of other things. That's one thing. I think the main important thing that you're going to learn in this program is not building some apps, but having this solid foundation about computer science, which you can then further build on for you to explore other things that you want. Because I think when I started learning to code, I don't really know about the basics of, I just learned to code and that's it. It's just like learning how to write, but you're not learning what's grammar, what is literature, what is this kind of things. Then when you go more advanced, you have to letters have this sort of structure, this format to it. Same like when you learn how to code. If you know how your computers work, you're going to become a very good programmer, very efficient programmer. Your program's not going to crash. It's going to be very efficient, going to save a lot, save battery very fast, because you know how your computers work. That is why in my module, I'm going to teach not just about Python, but that's a thing we call as data structures and algorithms. basically we are going to teach you how do you efficiently run certain algorithms so that to make sure that your program runs very smoothly. So this is a very important topic actually. Many people think it's not important, but it's very, very important. I think if you come to the course, you're going to learn a lot of things that you're going to wow you a lot. Really, something very new for you guys. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So I guess this is where we can imagine a world where technology is used to streamline processes
Yep.
and then reduce the burnout and overwork healthcare providers, right?
Exactly. Something like that.
Okay. Dr. Zuhairi, is there anything you want to show us? Do you have magic to share?
It's not magic, something very easy, but which you want to see my screen? Or the theory, you want to see something before we
Please, by all means, you can, Dr. Zuhairi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen and let's play around with some code just to show you guys what we are going to see in the course, okay? Let me show you which one is my window. All right, let me just try this one. All right, is that visible now? Can you see the screen? Okay. Right, here in front of me here, this is a software or an IDE, actually integrated development environment, a software known as VS Code or Visual Studio Code, which is very, very commonly used among software engineers and developers alike. So here I'm opening a file named as demotest.py, which stands for Python file. So let's play around with some Python code and see what's going to happen, okay? Let's say I want to declare a variable, say, name, let's say Zuhairi is my name, okay? Okay, let's say I'm going to do this. What's going to happen is that I'm storing this string here or this value here, Zuhairi, into this variable. So if I want to print this variable, then just simply say print name. What is it going to do is if I run this program, then you're going to see my name being printed into the console, okay? Can you see here? Zuhairi is printed here, okay? Let me just clean this one up, sorry. Okay, let's do again. As you can see here, Zuhairi is printed here, okay? Let's say I want to get a new name, for example, name2 or name2. Let's say Adri, okay? And then if I print again, name2, for example, and you're gonna see, okay, Zuhairi and Adri is being printed. Okay, this is very basic. As you can see, we are running a Python program in the terminal or in the console. As you can see, these two things here got printed into the console. It's very easy, right? Can you see how easy it is to understand the code? Can you see that? It's super easy to understand. Okay, let's move on with some numbers. For example, let's say I have a list of numbers. Let's say from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and let me just cancel this one. There's no need. Okay, and I'm gonna print these numbers. Okay, list of numbers. And if you run these programs, you're gonna see here 1, 2, 3, 4 got printed into the console. Okay, so yes, if you can see, we can actually store all these values inside some sort of variable, which we can print it, and it will be seen in the console. Okay, let's play around a little bit more. Let's say we want to these numbers, right? Okay, we want to print each one of these separately. Okay, we can use a thing we call as for loop. Okay, so for number in numbers, for example, sorry. Okay, and then let's say you print number. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, number. Okay, then what's going to happen is that if you run this program, you're going to see all these numbers being printed one by one. Okay, let's see. As you can see there, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see, we can manipulate this list of numbers in certain ways that we want. Okay, for example, let's say we want to see print for this number plus 2, for example. Okay, and run again, you're going to see 3, 4, 5, 6, because all these numbers all are being added by 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. This one is 4. This one is 5. This is 6. As you can see down here. Okay, so I think it's quite easy. Let's do something more advanced. Okay, let's see something more advanced. Okay.
Zuhairi, do you happen to still have the triage app that we previously created? I think that would be cool. Sure, like,
yeah, we can We can do that, but it's gonna take a lot of time to actually build it in this instance. But I'm more than happy to share with you guys some more advanced app during the course. If you guys want to see it, you can come to the course, right? But let me show you something more fun. Okay, let's print some graph on the screen. Okay, let's do something more fun. So I'm going to import some packages, for example, matplotlib dot pyplot, for example, as plt. Okay, let's see. Let's create a data first. X equals to 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Okay, and y equals to let's say 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, let's try that. Okay, and now we're gonna plot this data. Let's say we're gonna plot it as plt dot plot, and we're gonna plot these two, right? X and y in a graph, on a graph. Okay, X and y. Okay, and now let's see this graph now. So let's say plt dot show, which is going to print this thing. So we're gonna close this one first. This simple code here, we're gonna play it. Can you see the graph there? Okay, this thing is being plotted onto the graph. And let's give the labels to this graph, for example. And let's say we try this one. plt.x label, and x should be something like x-axis, for example, and y is gonna be like y-axis. Okay, and let's give it a title, plt.title, for example, and just say here simple linear graph. Okay. All right, now let's do this again. So what's going to happen now is that, first of all, we have established an axis x of these values, axis y of these values here, and we're going to plot it first. Okay, and then we're going to give the label x and y axis, and we're going to give a title, and we're going to show this graph. And let's run this one. See, this is the title, this is the axis, this is the axis. So imagine how simple it is to actually build a graph based on these codes. Actually, it's very simple. During the course, you're going to see a lot more fun stuff with the graphs and play around with some more things to come, actually. more than this. So I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Any final words, I mean, from you first, Dr. Zuhairi, like, why should they join this workshop?
Okay, let me just close this one first, I believe. Hang on. Okay. So yeah, so I think what I just showed just now is a very simple application of Python. As you can imagine, if you have this knowledge in your arsenal, you can use this knowledge for you to build many things. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, I think, you know what, in the future you're gonna see tech be implemented in healthcare. So I think those who are early in adopting this change gonna have the front seat. So I think don't waste this opportunity to become the first in your department or in your place of work or whatever you are now, to become the, sort of to spearhead the change in your organization. And also not you have to be very frank, you can get some money out of it as well. You can earn some income, you can get into some projects, get invited into some projects. So it's gonna open up some more new opportunities for you. So I think it's gonna be very worth it, to have this kind of knowledge.
Okay, what about you, Dr. Adrian? Any final words?
Yeah,
why should they join? Yeah.
Okay, my final words, and also why should you join the workshop? I'll share my screen a bit. Can I share my screen? Can you see?
Yeah.
All right. So this is you're going to get this. Okay. Hopefully you're going to get this. Okay. This is just a sample demo application where I developed this AI powered application. Okay, web application to predict whether you have your glucose level, the sugar level in your body. Is it poor or is it good? So you have these parameters. Let's say you have these factors and of your patients. You have the blood pressure of your patients, the systolic, diastolic blood pressure, the age of the patient, and the weight. Initially, it was poor, right? So if you were able to control the weight of the patient, initially it was poor. If you were able to control the weight of the patient, and also the patient is younger, all right, all right? So the parameter will change, right? The younger age with normal blood pressure and also the weight is reduced, you'll be able to predict that, okay, your patient will going to have a good glucose control. So I hope that at the end of this workshop, okay, just like what Dr. Zuhairi has mentioned, you'll be able to do some coding, you'll be able to deploy your model, and at the back of this application is all of the algorithm or the models that you have deployed for you to use for your work, right? So I hope this workshop will able to spearhead or able to trigger your interest in AI and continue serving the best for your patients and also the community. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so Deirdre, can I understand from this, what you showed, is it like, you know, I can use that bar to figure out what's the best weight that the patient should achieve to get a good glucose control?
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Oh.
So the parameters, you can tweak around. If I increase this blood pressure by 20 millimeters mercury, if I reduce the weight of the patients, will my patient be able to have good glucose control or poor glucose control? So having this idea and having this skill of building an application and also a machine learning model that can help your patients or even your relative, your spouse, you want to give some decision, right? You want to give some advice, this will be able to help. But of course, again, the skill of using the application for machine learning requires validation, requires data, and requires much more training. So, but the thing is, training and also to kickstart, having the skill is very much important for you to use later on.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zuhairi, Dr. Deirdre. I think that was a very that was very insightful because you know, now with the contract system, actually there's going to be a lot of young doctors that's going to come out and flood the market, and you know, if they don't do anything to, like, you know, stay ahead of the curve, like what you said, Zuhairi, they will just stay, you know, like a kata di bawah tempurung. They won't even know what is the advances in healthcare technology, and with them flooding the market, the salary is going to go down because too many of them, a lot of them, too many competitions. So I'm sure they're going to accept lower pays, you know, just to survive. So I guess this is how you can really like differentiate yourself and stand out, right? Because I think there's like so many health tech companies out there right now.
Yep, that's right. Fully agree with you.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, that's a wrap for tonight's episode of Medic Footprints YouTube Live. I hope you found this discussion on the impact of AI in healthcare for doctors to be very insightful and inspiring. So you've heard from the experts of doctors in the field who shared their experience and insights. So I hope you gain a deeper understanding on the importance of why doctors need to learn and embrace AI and machine learning to future-proof your careers. I know the learning curve is very, very steep, especially in a language that you don't even know. But I guess this is what it takes, right, to really stand out and push yourself further. So as healthcare evolves, you know, technology is going to play a very crucial role, and it's vital for us doctors to continuously educate ourselves and develop our technological proficiency. So, well, thank you all for joining us tonight, and until next time, stay well.